Labour headquarters is not in America. It's not where they are doing hip-hop music. It's not in California. It's in Africa. According to the spiritual realm, in the kingdom of darkness, the world power is Africa. Even in heaven, heaven knows that Africa is the world power because Africa is more wicked than any other continent. In Africa, they buy mortuary water, use it to cook, and you see people in a haste going to buy food there. In Africa, they caught a woman washing her private part and using her menstruation to cook food, and her restaurant was booming. If you drive a new car in Africa, your family know. Some people in your family, they will waste you. In Nigeria, the headquarters is in Benin. It's where the spiritual hosts of wickedness they gather. Where is the presidential suite in Africa? It's in Pretoria. That's not where the power is. Power is in one small village like Toyando. So if heaven is doing something, the first place they take it to is Africa. So also if hell is planning anything, the place they take it to is Africa. In Africa, the witchcraft school is on a tree, small tree. You can't see it. They enter tree because Africa is more wicked. Not a religion that is affecting Africa. It's not politics. It's wickedness. Yes, many people say Africa, they pray too much because we are wicked. If you don't pray in Africa, they waste you. Ephesians 6:12. Do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against rulers of darkness, and against spiritual hosts of wickedness in heavenly places. Host means where people gather, the troop. So all the troop of wickedness, their base is Africa.
Never speak against a man of God. You know, when you hear people talk against men of God, they're people who have never heard from us. You know, if you've never learned from us, you say things like that. You talk against men of God. But if you're in this ministry and you've been hearing from us, you've been taught by us, you don't speak against men of God. When you hear others talk against men of God, keep your mouth shut. Go away from there. Because to speak against men of God is to bring curses on yourself and on your children.
Hello guys, welcome to the show. I hope everyone is doing just fine. And let me just say this, right? I, for one, I cannot help it when I come across videos when people say something that is totally self-serving. I really cannot help it when I hear popular people saying that don't criticize the institutions that they belong to. I find that to be self-serving. If a politician comes out and said, don't criticize politicians for not doing what they ought to be doing or for not carrying out their responsibilities, I will criticize that. I will condemn that because it's self-serving. Likewise, men of God. If a man of God comes out and said, don't criticize men of God, don't associate yourself with people who talk against men of God, I will call that man of God out. And that was exactly what Chris Oyakhilome did in this video. He is urging his members strongly not to talk against men of God, not to associate themselves with people who talk against men of God, not to be in a surrounding, an environment, or in the midst of people who like talking against men of God. That is what he is doing. In other words, he is creating a bubble for himself. He is brainwashing his members not to talk against men of God. And remember, when he says that, he knows for sure that includes him. When he said, don't talk about men of God, is he not a man of God? So that includes him. In other words, he is protecting himself. And now, the biggest question is, why? Why are we not allowed to talk against men of God? Why should we not criticize men of God? What is the harm in doing so? Why are men of God so fragile that if we criticize them, they would evaporate? Are their egos so strong and so big that if we just poke at it, they will lose it? Why? Why aren't we allowed to criticize men of God? Why? Are they a superior being? I know they have told us that they are God's representation on earth, and they have quoted part and part of the Bible to justify that. But let's go deeper. Are they more superior than us? Aren't they human beings? Aren't they? He said that if you criticize or talk against men of God, you attract curses to yourself. And the question now is, curses from who? Who is going to curse you because you talk against a man of God? Who is going to do that? God? Jesus? They? Who is going to do that? Now, if he meant God, then I'm sorry. Because God is all but smarter than every person. So they say. God knows everything. And if people criticize you, a man of God, for the wrong things you've done and for the wrong things you've said, how would God curse them when they mainly pointed out your own wrong deeds? How would God curse people for speaking out the truth? Isn't speaking out the truth one of the pillars of the church? Isn't it? So, if people criticize you for the things you are doing, which are obviously so wrong, how would God punish them for that? Why would God curse them for that? And why haven't God cursed you for misleading the people? So when it is for you guys, God just let you guys run wild. Do whatever you guys want to do. I mean, the men of God, you guys have the privilege, you guys have the upper hands to run wild and do whatever you guys want to do. But if we started calling you guys out for your excesses, started criticizing you guys for the wrong things that you guys are doing, God now curses us? Is that what you, Chris Oyakhilome, is saying? Really? Like, seriously? And the most embarrassing thing in all this is that you will see a lot of people believing what he said, and a lot of people defending him and his actions. A lot of people criticizing me for criticizing him. Let me be clear. I don't think it's wrong or immoral for you to criticize me. I am but welcoming to that. And I don't think that there is any God that is going to curse you for talking against me. I don't think so. So you guys also must know that no God will curse anyone for calling out a man of God who is abusing the people, who is abusing his or her privileged position, who is saying things that only goes to line up his pocket. No God will curse such a person. Many men of God are putting words into God's mouth. Many of such men of God are the ones causing all the confusion, not God. People are now saying things that God would never ever said. They put words into God's mouth. Shame on them.